Oh, ladies and gentlemen, coming off a packed MMA weekend. This is Cageside Live on a Monday night. My name's Eddie Laws, Chris Project, Alex Behunin, and making his Cageside Live debut. Been waiting for him. Double G on TV. Gabriel Gonzalez, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah. Right? You are. Oh, yeah, you're this one.
We're like the Brady Bunch in here with this. Anyway, I apologies to everyone in the comment section. I know, a little late, my bad. But kicking off right away, man. Bellator 278 and 279 this weekend. So Bellator had two back-to-back cards in Hawaii, of all places, which is honestly makes me wonder why the hell UFC can't get a card in Hawaii when the Bellators had two in one weekend. Like the hell, but Gary, you want to talk about the Grand Prix, man? Honestly, four very entertaining fights in that one. Kicking it off here with Danny Sabatello getting 30-26s against Jordan Lugo. What do you think of that one?
I mean, look, he showed up. Yeah, I think that they did a good job, particularly our Alex over here, too. He's on my right when I'm looking at the screen. I don't care where. I'm not going to point again. But look, the fact is, they built that up. People knew they hated each other. And outside of Juliana and Liz, they became the show to watch. And Danny capitalized on the moment and had a great performance. Can't really add more.
It was great, honestly. And Alex, we always look for fighters with not only the skills and the toughness and everything, but this guy has a personality. I mean, he cusses way more than I do. That's hard to do.
Cusses way more than I do too, and that's fucking hard to do. Yeah, man. I mean, I've been saying it since he got signed and dominated Brett Johns. That dude's going to be hard to beat, and I think he's the dark horse to win the whole Grand Prix. Although Rafion Stotts and Sabatello, that's a fight right there.
Rafion Stotts, woo, that would be nuts. And obviously, Stotts gets the winner of Sabatello, Leandro Higo up next. Chris, did you get to watch the Grand Prix this weekend?
A little bit of it.
Okay, did you get the Sabatello fight?
The which fight?
The Sabatello fight?
No, I missed that one.
So I mean, obviously, you train the ground game. Dude has everything. And he said that himself. He said, he's high level wrestling. And he's not the best wrestler. He's not the best jiu-jitsu guy. He's not the best striker, but he's good all around. Putting it all together is super important, especially for a young guy like that. Yeah. So, and then obviously the personality is absolutely. I mean, he was going up. He gave one-liners like crazy. The one-liners are awesome. Like he go make weight and this other stuff. It's just like, what did he say? Something about a boulder? You guys remember that one?
I missed that one.
Oh, he said, okay, I watched all of them, all the post fights, but he said that you can't mimic pressure like him on the ground, wrestling pressure. He goes, you could even put like 1,000-ton boulder on top of you, and it wouldn't come close to Sabatello pressure or whatever. I'm like, I like this kid. Coker might have accidentally stumbled into something here. He might have accidentally got himself a good one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because he can be very boring if he just lays on you. But he was beating up Lugo, and yeah, man, it's just his personality is funny. He's like a mini Colby Covington,
right?
But less American. You know what I'm saying?
Super Italian. He's all about it, dude. It was pretty dope. The next fight, he has Leandro Higo up next, June 24th in Connecticut. So I think Connecticut. So that's gonna be a good one. Up next, Enrique Barzola Fuerte, 30-27s against Fedor product. I mean, this is a Team Fedor guy, so I was a little surprised with Nikita Mikhailov. So we've seen Barzola in the UFC, and now we see him in Bellator. What's the difference to you?
I mean, I think to me sometimes it's just a little bit of that fresh coat of paint. I think that sometimes, look, so many of the guys work their way up to be a UFC fighter, and I think there's a little bit of a mental shift in that you just feel a little more free in Bellator. I think there's a little less pressure. I think there's a little less, they may not always like it, but a little less media attention. And I think that just opens up a bit of freedom in some of the guys and girls. And I think that that's just it. I think that he just felt a little bit of that out there, and also a little bit of a redemption. It's like, look, you want to show to the people who really know that you're still at this level, even if you get cut or if you just look, if they value you, they're going to give you a deal. They're going to keep you. But if you don't get that particular contract, you still get to show that what level you're really at for the people who know, and the people who know that Bellator does have quite the 135 division.
There you go. And you know, for him to dominate someone like Nikita on that one, I was pretty surprised with that one. Up next, Alex, Magomedov. His parents said, "Screw it, we're just gonna give you the first part of your last name as your first name." That's almost like having two first names, except you having two last names. But what do you think on that fight? That's gonna be a hard one for Barzola.
Yeah, man, that matchup's fun. I mean, it's hard because Magomed's coming off a loss to Stops, right? And Barzola has all this momentum. I mean, gun to my head right now, I'd probably still say Magomed, but Barzola really impressed me, man. He looked good.
No, I honestly think they're pretty similar style fighters, so it might be one of those. We might get a brawl. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be wild. So he gets Magomedov, and the winner of that one gets not Sabatello, right? I'm thinking mixed. Thank you. Yeah. Which right away to the next one, Patchy mixed 48-47 against Kyoji Horiguchi. I was surprised because Patchy was the underdog, but first of all, I don't know if you guys caught it. Patchy was not happy with the scores. He thought he had a 10-8 in there, which I tend to agree. I forgot which round it was, but I mean he had his back the whole time it seems. But Patchy Mix, Gabriel, he's an interesting character, and he's gonna bring up a few problems against the winner of Barzola Magametto. What do you think on the Patchy or Horiguchi fight?
I mean, I think he showed up. I think that, you know, pre-Pettis having to withdraw, I think that was the setup, right? They literally put Pettis and Horiguchi at opposite corners with the intention that, they're going to relive that epic rematch from December. So I think to take out a guy like Horiguchi in the first round like that was huge for Mix. I think that it wasn't a monumental upset, but you knew that they were favoring Kyoji with the Ryzen connection, how close he was to becoming the bantamweight champion. I mean, he was on his way in that fight against Pettis. So I think that was huge, but I think if you knew that, he's not Sergio Pettis. He always had a different set of weapons, and I think maybe if there's anything that caught people by surprise, it was that. It was that, Kyoji's going to still do this and this, and Patchy's going to figure it out. No, Patchy went for a completely different ball game than Pettis did, and you saw the results of styles making fights.
Yeah, no, and it really was styles making fights. And for a guy like Horiguchi to lose like that, Alex, was that shocking to you? Because, I mean, our very own Jason Payne, who always jumps into our Slack talking about Horiguchi this and that, he didn't say anything. So, by the way, this is a shout out to Jason. Let us know you're okay. I was worried after seeing that result. He ain't not from him. I was gonna make sure you're okay there, Jason. But were you at all surprised about how that fight went?
I wasn't because I talked to Patchy, man, and it was like he knew something that we all didn't know, and it just he went out to Extreme Couture for this fight camp, and him aligning with Eric Nixick is a deadly combo, and I was surprised how easy he made it look against Gooch.
Mm-hmm. That's why now you mentioned that a lot of guys are going to either Henry Cejudo, the guys over at Extreme Couture, or James Cross these days. Remember it used to be mostly Greg Jackson. Everyone goes to Albuquerque. Now no one's going there. It's kind of a weird thing to see.
You got to evolve in this game. You got to evolve.
Yeah.
I think it's because they didn't have a big pool. Like after Extreme Couture, let's be honest, they had a dip, especially as it exploded.
Yeah.
And then now it's like you go to this smaller camp and it's like you don't got to worry about the competition with, we have more. Like I might have to fight a teammate. No, they're so small still that you get quality training without having to worry about the other stuff.
Right. No, 100%. Now then, the interim belt on the line. Sergio Pettis out with I forgot what the injury was. You guys remember?
I don't think they said it. I thought it sounded like it might be a knee thing, but I don't think they actually confirmed it.
Okay, that would make sense.
I think he blew his ACL.
Okay, all right.
How long is he out till next year? Ish.
On ACL, probably end of this year. At best, the end of this year. But no, if I'm him, I wait till next year. Anyway,
he's not going to fight until the winter, and that won't be till next year.
Yeah. Now the sad part would be if he has to fight the winner of this next fight. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. Rafael Stotts takes the interim belt, knocks out Juan Archuleta. First of all, Gabriel, that was a head kick that ended up being a knee to the head. And the delayed reaction was confusing the hell out of everybody. But, man, what a finish for Stotts.
I mean, he showed up. I mean, if you know Juan Archuleta, this is a guy who went 5 rounds with Patricio Pitbull, who puts people down at 145. So I've always said that I like Juan, and I think he's won the belt, and he's gone 5 rounds at 135. I do sometimes see him compared to those other guys and think, is he straining his body too much? Because I do think that had a big part of it. Look, you saw the height discrepancy. When you go knee to temple on anybody, you're most likely going to get rocked. But the fact that he went out tells you everything you got to know. And Stotts looked good leading up to that. So it was just, home run. I think whoever was in there with him, he just had that wasn't going to be denied kind of night.
Right. And Chris, with that in mind, with Stotts, not to be denied, Juan tried to wrestle him, first of all, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really think he would do that. I thought they would just stand and bang and everything, but it ended up being a really good fight on that one. But what did you think of Stotts getting that knockout win?
I mean, I've expected it. I mean, he's the guy who I called to win it all, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. Did he say he will fight Sergio if he wins the like? So yeah, I mean that's going to be really interesting. I think that's what it comes down to, though. I don't think anyone's going to beat Stouts right now.
Alex, what do you think? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be I didn't think he was going to knock him out. I thought it was going to be a decision. I thought it was going to be a lot of wrestling, a lot of what it was. But then I thought it was going to be a decision. That knee was just icing on the cake.
Right. Now, Alex, speaking of a Sergio Pettis fight, now he did say in the post fight, he was like, "Hey man, I am happy with somebody. I forgot. I don't know who it was. I knew most of the reporters that were there, but somebody asked them." Do you want the interim? It might have been Nolan, actually, now that I think about it. Do you want the interim tag off the title winner, the federal champion, or sorry, bantamweight champion? And he goes, "No, I'm cool with it. I'll hold on to this belt till Serge comes back." And he was super happy and everything. But what do you think of a Stotts Sergio Pettis fight? And just for everybody after that, what are you guys' opinions on teammates and friends fighting each other? Because that's, to me, that's still to this day pretty wild.
Yeah, so Stotts didn't want to fight Pettis in the first round, right? Like that was one of the things, but Coker said, too bad, bro. So Stotts went to Extreme Couture and aligned himself with Nick Sick, and it showed again. It showed. And yeah, he's the whole package, man. He can fight good. He's very entertaining. He can talk. He can talk. He looks good. He's got it, and the Bellator has one if they choose to market him correctly. As for teammates fighting, I mean, it's tough, right? It's tough. Like if it's for a belt, I think you have to, or if it's for the PFL $1 million, you got to do it, right? Because Shoeface and Josh Silveira are teammates, and they're gonna fight, and Omari Akhmedov is from American Top Team, so they're gonna fight. So like, if it's for a belt, of course, but like, if you're getting paid $10,000 to fight your fucking teammate, I mean, of course they're gonna say no, you know.
Yeah. That, I mean, Chris, we've seen that with my biggest. I always bring the same example up is DC basically cut his leg off to make 205, so we wouldn't have to fight Kane at heavyweight. That's a huge deal. So yeah.
I mean, and Gilbert Burns and Vicente Luque will not fight each other.
Oh, they refuse. They legit refuse to.
And I don't even think they would fight each other for the title. I think one of them would go up or down.
Right. It'd probably be, I don't know who. Go ahead, Gabriel.
I was going to say, I personally think that when you go into a gym and you choose to establish yourself with, like you're on a roll, you have a teammate who's on a roll, same promotion, same weight class, you kind of make that unspoken agreement that says, hey, look, if we're not going to leave, we're accepting that we're probably going to fight each other. Now, obviously, like Luque and Gilbert, that's a different kind of context. But yeah, I mean, with so many people, like so many guys, especially at those lighter weight classes, I mean, so many good bantamweights on a roll, it makes it harder. But I think that if you're going to stay at a gym where you have a teammate, you're kind of making that unspoken agreement that, like, hey, when they throw us the bag of money, like, look, lunch is on the winner, and that's just it.
Yeah. No, I've had to go to, and this is just a dumb little story, but like I had to go in a jiu-jitsu tournament for the gold medal match against my closest friend in jiu-jitsu, And we saw this video years ago. These two wrestlers doing paper, rock, scissors. See who would go up into the next round. We did that shit. No one got it on video, which pissed me off because I was like, that would have been a great clip. We did
That's
that
illegal
shit.
now.
Yeah,
IBJJF.
Oh no, that was
Just
NAB. It was NABJJF. The way you can still get away with bullshit.
Yeah, I think they just made it illegal now.
NABJJF.
We got the man himself, Sean, in the chat.
Hey, Sean, dude, you're invited to this shit. You know that, right? Oh, no, you don't know that. Well, now you know that. All right, so hit us up for the next one if you want to come on. Albert, what's going on, dude? Always fun to have you in the chat here. Ivan's been messaging since before the show started, and these guys want to talk about Macy Barber quite a bit, and we'll get to that here in a second. But very quickly, the headliners for UFC 278. 278 was Juliana Velasquez and
Liz Carmouche.
Thank you, Liz Carmouche.
The winner.
The finish, the ending of that fight. I was scratching my head, Alex. What did we see there?
So you can argue it both ways, right? You can say that it was an early stoppage, and then you can argue that like she was not defending herself and she was getting crucifixed, elbowed, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like, of course, people are saying early stoppage, but like if she broke both of her orbital bones, people would be like, would jump down his throat and be like, oh, you're late stoppage, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't ever please MMA fans, bro. You can't. It's never gonna be good enough.
That was rough one to see, you know, Gabriel with because I still to this moment now that Alex says that, I'm like, okay, that's a good point, because I was just like, what the fuck was that, you know? And you know, Juliana got up like, hey, what the hell, and all sort of stuff. But for Liz Carmouche, first of all, it's a huge win for her. Like, I don't know, this might be the first major belt she's held, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So would you make of that? Not only that, she did it in front of a lot of her fellow service members.
I am outraged beyond words, but I have a lot to say. I know we have a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to say all of it. To me, I think that what it comes down to, when I look at that scenario, it's kind of like when a fighter has the clock winding down and they go for a rear naked choke, and it's like, you know that the time is going to run out. It's not about improving your position. You're just kind of holding on. I felt like Juliana was in that position, already up 3-0, arguably was winning that fourth round. I think that it was going to be a toss-up had it gone, you know, to the bell. But the fact is, I feel like, and maybe I need to watch it again and pay more attention, I felt like I didn't hear Mike Beltran saying, hey, you got to move. You got to show me something. Because to me, it just felt like Juliana was looking to run out the clock. She wasn't getting hurt. I'm not worried. Why am I going to expend this energy? We got the fifth round. I've already fought 20 minutes. I'm not getting hurt. So I think that that's the real thing. Mike Beltran is my favorite coach. He's a Southern California guy. I've seen him ref a lot of things, not UFC and Bellator, just being around. I trust not only his judgment, but his commitment to a lot. That being said, refereeing is a split-second thing with a real human element with the decision. Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say, hey, that one could have been a toss-up either way. And sometimes it's just like that. That's not a knock on Mike. That's just a scenario where, you know, a lot of things happen quickly. And I think that one just happened quickly in that particular context.
That's a really good point, actually. And Chris, what would you take on it, man? Because that, again, now hearing Alex explain it and Gabriel explain it, now I'm back in the middle, like, shit, I don't know how to feel about it. What did you think of it?
I mean, Bellator's gonna Bellator, right? No, I'm just joking. But I don't know. When I'm looking at the shots, right? So I get what they're saying, but when I'm looking at the shots, I'm not the ref. I'm not making a real time, but I'm rewatching this. To me, it's kind of like if somebody gets rocked on their feet, right? And they're getting just little jabs. The ref's not going to stop and break it up with 10 seconds to go in the round. Right. You're going to wait till you get a harder shot. I felt like, she was taking shots, but it wasn't anything super strong. She was just landing strikes. I don't think she thought she was going to put her away. I mean, that's kind of, when she pulled her off, that's just kind of how I seen it. And it's so hard because the other one was winning the fight. She was up, and to lose like that just kind of, it's a kind of a bummer. Like if it was some hard shots, or if she got hit with a nasty one, or if there was blood kind of or you know what I mean, if she was rocked, she wasn't rocked in my opinion. So, but I mean, it's his job to prevent her from getting her orbital bone crushed, for instance. So
That's
I don't know.
really
It's
good
tough.
point. Yeah, that's a hard one, man. I wouldn't want to be a ref. I'll tell you that much. Blue Moon 07 says they say for fighters to never look at the clock, so they shouldn't have a huge impact. Looking at the clock, yeah, you shouldn't. They
Is
also
that for
tell
fighters or for refs? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, as a fighter, you shouldn't. The ref should never care about the clock. I'll agree with that. But I think as a fighter, it's like,
yeah,
if I got 15 seconds left, you're dang right. I'm looking at the clock to, let loose with the bullets. You know what I mean?
yeah, you gotta let it go. Blue Moon then goes, when are we gonna talk about the biggest winner of the weekend? Mike Jackson. In a minute here, sir. Be a little patient. We're gonna get there, I promise. All right, that was the main event, 278. 279's main event was a rematch, title rematch. Chris Cyborg against Arlene Blanco. A lot of people were probably rightly so. Now, in hindsight, obviously, doubting Blanco would be able to, pull it off this time. She did make it the whole fight. Like, that is different than the first time around there, Gabriel. As far as Chris Cyborg, who's left? Because everyone, look, first of all, in the post-fight, she gets the mic. She's like, I'll fight anybody they want me to fight. She named Amanda Nunes. She named Kayla Harrison, which is the biggest name everyone's been talking about. What is left for Chris Cyborg?
It's either Cat Zingano or boxing. And I think that I don't know what's going on. I feel like there's a little bit of a smoke and mirrors with agreements or the negotiation behind the scene. But at this point, Cat Zingano has had 2 or 3 performances in Bellator. So and there's not a lot of featherweights already there. So we've kind of passed that point of like, the slow build. And I get it. Bellator doesn't want to. They sign someone, if they throw him right into the title fight, if you're not a Chris Cyborg, it's like, okay, now where do you go with this person you spend a lot of money on? You get to build it up and get more for your money out of it. I think that if it's not Cat, honestly, Chris just set up an interim and let her go box somebody. Let her talk to her buddy Amanda Serrano, get on a Jake Paul undercard, make some cash. Because at this point in Bellator, she's run the table. Like when Scott Coker said, "Oh, we're gonna run it back with Sinead Kavanaugh," I almost fell off my couch. I was like, he did not just say that. Yeah. He did not just say that with a straight face. And look, Kavanaugh builds herself back up. We'll have that conversation again. But right this second, I'm like, no. Like,
so now, will Coker let her box though? Is there anything in her contract? Is he going to prevent it, you think?
He said it's been in the paperwork since she signed. Said it just hasn't come up yet. But she's always had the option to go box. That was part of her contract.
There you go. He's not Dana White. Scott Coker's like, anything. Give me anything at this point. Get the name out there, man.
Just the taste.
It'll help him, man. Alex, with Chris Cyborg, everybody wants the Kayla Harrison, fight. Can they do co-promotion? We know the UFC's never going to do, more than likely never going to do co-promotion. PFL could do it, but do you think it happens? And is it worth it to make it happen?
So I'm hearing both sides. So I'm hearing, PFL is saying that Cyborg doesn't want it, and Cyborg is saying the PFL doesn't want it, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously someone's kind of fibbing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the only fight other than her going back to the UFC and rematching Anna Nunes, which won't happen because she doesn't like Dana White, and Dana White treated her like shit the whole time. But for me as a fan, like that's the number one fight I want to see. I want to see Cyborg versus Nunes because I think Cyborg could definitely beat Amanda Nunes. I think it was just, it's just she got caught. She got caught. So I don't know, man. I mean, boxing. I was writing something up, and I mean, she could fight Clarissa Shields in boxing.
Yeah.
And then Katie Taylor. She can fight Katie Taylor. I think so. I think Gabriel would know more better than me. And then there's Amanda Serrano, but I think Amanda Serrano is a little bit smaller than Cyborg.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say, I think that's the thing about Katie Taylor and Amanda. They're so close. I feel like Katie in MMA would be about a bantamweight. Like she could move up, but you talk about optimally, like Chris Cyborg is a, natural 145er. She's not a bantamweight who's eaten a lot. You know what I mean? I think it's the same. Katie Taylor would be too small.
All right. Gotcha. That makes sense.
So
Yeah, I see.
but would Clarissa Shields be too big?
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it is.
I think that's more like it. But then that's also like, well, Chris Cyborg, is that what you're looking for? But maybe it is. If they're both getting paid, why not? You know, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, Chris Cyborg, Clarissa Shields on the, well, she's not going to fight the undercard. She said that, but the fact is, you know what I mean. Put him on a co-main event to somebody
Yeah.
somewhere, and let's just get it on.
Look, if you're gonna do, oh man, who's Diego Sanchez and Dan Hardy? If they're gonna do that fight. Yeah. Yo, Dan Hardy came out, and we'll talk about it if you guys want to, but Dan Hardy came out and said he's gonna make more money in this boxing match with Diego than he did in all his UFC contracts apparently. And I'm sitting here going like, you have a terrible one. Yeah, one, you had a terrible manager, and two, they're overpaying for this fight like crazy. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Got a couple comments here before we move on to the to UFC actually. Scott Coker is the Tyrone Biggins of MMA. You're a Dave Chappelle fan, you know that. I mean, you know that reference, but I don't know if it's Tyrone Biggins of MMA. What else we got? Someone's simping for Chris Cyborg. There you go, coach. Ivan goes Gabby Garcia. Oh boy. All right.
Now, Gabby and Chris are like Luke and Burns, though.
Yes,
like
they're not going to fight each other.
Like they do Zumba on like Mondays together. That's not happening.
I always wanted to see if Gabby would fight her because that's the only other person I could think is big enough to do it. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah. All right. What was I going to say? UFC this weekend obviously went down, and we give the people what they want. They want to talk. Mike Jackson's the biggest bum in the UFC. Jesus Christ. All right. So I mean, I'm sure if you guys didn't see it, you definitely heard about it. Mike Jackson takes the DQ win over Dean Barry. Dean Barry, first of all, like spinning, like heel kicked him right in the nuts, and then raked his eye out, basically. Like, and then Dean Barry wants to talk about how Mike Jackson took the easy way out. Gabriel, what the hell? Where are we here in this MMA universe where that's like the narrative?
I mean, there's a reason why Mike was picked to fight CM Punk years ago, and there's a reason why it's been this many years. And look, Mike's got other stuff going on. Yeah. And look, respectfully, you know, it was selective matchmaking when they picked him up for CM, and it just made me wonder, was Mike trying to make, like, does he need some money? Does he need some extra money? And that's why he's like, oh, well, let me cash in on this UFC contract that I'm probably, you know, will expire quickly, I think. Look, I mean, when you take that many fouls, that's just it. You know, like you take that W if you want, but there's a reason they were at the beginning of the night. That's it.
Yeah, no, you know, Alex, I'm surprised that Mike's still on. I didn't know Mike was still on the roster till the fight started. When he walked out, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Really?
No, it's offensive that these guys are in the UFC and guys like Mo Miller, Dan Argueta, Aaron McKenzie are all outside the UFC. It's offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys should not be in the UFC. I'm sorry, it's not. The only reason why Dean Barry's in it because he's Irish, and they handpicked Mike Jackson because they said you should beat this halftime fighter, halftime journalist. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. It fucking sucked. And then Dean Barry goes on and is like, I was beating his ass, and he wanted the easy way out. Like, bro, you clawed his eye, dude. Like, it was one of the worst eye gouges I've ever seen. Yeah. So like, the fuck out of here, dude. Like, the point I'm saying is it's offensive these guys are in the UFC, and guys like Mo Miller and Dan Argueta are not in the UFC right now.
100%. And Chris, I know we'll put in the Slack chat. We're like, hey, man, because he did deactivate his Twitter pretty quickly after that video came out. You found it, and then at the end, near the end of the night, he deactivated it again. Like,
oh wow,
yeah.
So he's just going on a rampage, on off, huh?
He must have got.
That's what happens when you lose to Mike Jackson, though.
That's his first UFC win, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, hard fought victory to him. You know, got to get that W.
Wait, didn't Mike beat
my
Punk?
account too?
Didn't Mike? You're talking about Dean or talking about Mike?
Mike.
Oh,
I said Mike deactivated.
Mike beat Punk.
He beat him, but he got popped for weed, so it's a no contest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Couldn't even beat the pro wrestler. That's damn, boy. All right.
You know
No contest.
Yeah. Dean Barry has a jab hook combo. That's it. Look, he was throwing heat. He was trying to knock Mike Jackson out, and they ended up hit him in the dick instead. Sean, Dean Barry came out looking worse than Jackson. Yep. Couldn't beat a media guy, and was the one that committed both fouls 100%.
Sean, I don't like how you put the media guy. You could have used different language there, Sean. I mean, my scouting report would be at least 2 paragraphs. Come on now.
That's a good point. All right, let's they want to talk about Macy Barber. We're gonna skip it. Let's talk Macy Barber real quick. Macy Barber decision winner over Matana de la Rosa. What is there to say about that? Honestly, that I was rooting for De La Rosa. Yeah,
she did what she was supposed to do. She got the W's, find a new opponent. There's not a whole lot to say, in my opinion. It wasn't a very entertaining fight. She did what she needed to do to win.
I think impressive. I mean, you just saw this with like Kay Hansen and all that. The fact that Macy is still so young and has done her growing in the UFC, and Montana's a vet. So anytime you pick up a dub, that's a big deal when you're that young and you're growing. So I think that's the only thing, is that she is growing still at her age, for sure. And look, I mean, as long as you're still getting better, you're at that point in your career where you should be still growing. You're not a finished product yet.
100%. Alex, you better expand on this as coach.
I mean, it's just like, I hate her arrogance. It's so like her post-fight interview, her with the media, it was just like, dude, like, she still thinks she beat Miranda Maverick. It's like, dude, like, I don't know. Obviously you have to be confident in this sport, right? Because you know it is what it is. But like, I can't stand her arrogance. I can't. It was a very good win. Montana de la Rosa is very tough. I'll give her that. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of just
right.
Yeah.
Very quickly, because Blue Moon brought it up. Macy Barber versus Jojo next? Question mark.
Yeah, it's a perfect fight. It's a perfect fight for Jojo because they won't give her someone that will take her down and submit her. They'll bang and boom.
There you go. Hey, Sean says media guy. So there you go. There you go. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, main event very quickly. First standing arm triangle finish in UFC history. Very impressive. We should have seen it coming maybe because of the strength of Jessica Andrade, but Gabriel, super impressive to get that one on Amanda Lemos like that. Do you think Lemos got caught off guard? Like, just, oh shit, what happened? Or do you think 9 times out of 10 Jessica wins that fight?
I'm not gonna lie, Lemos doesn't get the credit for the start she had. I thought she was doing some very fundamental things well. That being said, that scramble is a great example. I mean, Macy Barber probably doesn't see that opening, right? Jessica does. It's like, okay, this person's out of position, stretched. That's a veteran move to be able to jump on that and go straight to that submission. So I don't think, I think she needs more credit just for being able to identify what she could get from there. But yeah, I mean, if people who listen to MMA Daily now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and they know I'm a huge Jessica Andrade fan. I think that she just fights with that gangster. She goes at you to do damage until the time runs out or until the ref stops her, win or lose. And look, that was just more savagery from her. And I think that she should have gotten a lot higher ranked opponent. I think that I don't know if it was the higher ranked girls didn't want to fight her at this stage, but Jessica was 2-1 at flyweight, and her loss was to some girl named Valentina Shevchenko. And it's like, that's not like a bad thing. Like, I think that Jessica should have still been like ranked top 3 at strawweight, even though she bounced for a bit when she came back.
100% believe that. Alex has moved down to strawweight for Andrade. Can she make a real run at the title? She's been champ before. Can she do it again?
I mean, she definitely. Okay, first of all, Jessica Andrade is elite, dude. She's fought in 3 different weight classes. She's an elite fighter. She could definitely, if Rose beats Carla, I think Marina Rodriguez should get the next title shot. But after that, Jessica Andrade could definitely fight Rose again because they're 1-1, and that second fight was very, very close. So yeah, I mean, they could definitely run it back for a trilogy. And Jessica Andrade just looks like she's a beast. She's an elite fighter.
Yeah, I think Ivan look, Ivan goes, if she beats Carlos Esparza, bro. Hey, we'll see. I'll be there for it. Chris, with do you think this, I just thought of this right now. Do you think Amanda Lemos expected Jessica Andrade was going to throw in bombs, and when she got caught in the arm triangle, she was like, oh shit, she can grapple?
I think she expected everything. I think she just got Scooby-Dooed with the strength, man. I think she's just so powerful. Like I think she expected it to come out, but when she started feeling everything, I mean, it's hard to prepare, for someone like Jessica. She's elite. I think I read something. She's the first woman to have 3 finishes or a finish in 3 different weight classes or something like that. I don't know if it's true, but I think just some random thing I read. I don't know, dude. She's just very, very powerful. I think she can go down, and I think she can beat Carla Esparza.
There you go. Now,
when Esparza beats Rose.
Bro, you really calling that out, dog?
Calling it out right now.
When Rose wins that shit, I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, my colleague said you were gonna get your ass beat. What do you want to say to Chris Project at Steve? Tweet this motherfucker. No,
and then you can just ask Carla how she feels going 2-0 against Rose.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fan.
Bro, I was there when Michael Bisping beat Luke Rockhold. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Honestly, like everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna go in," and it's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun," and then Luke's gonna close the show. Nah, doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah. Blue Moon says you guys can call me Joe Silva now. He's the one that threw out the Macy Barber Jojo fight. So there you go. All right. And then the like I said, it was a packed MMA week. Everyone forgets PFL 1 went down on Wednesday. Main event: Jeremy Stephens against Clay Collard. Alex, we might have gotten the fight of the year in that one. What'd you think?
Yeah. Being Cageside for that one was fun, man. You could hear the shots in that arena. And Ray Seffel and the guys over there knew what they were doing. Like it was perfect matchmaking, and those boys went to war. It was just a fantastic fight. And I mean Clay Collard is another guy where like the UFC let him go after he lost to Max Holloway and lost to one other guy, and it's just like, dude, he's so fun to watch. His boxing is fantastic, and he can eat a shot, man. He ate some of those Jeremy Stephens bombs to the chin, where 99% of fighters would have went down.
No, and Chris, he's one of those guys that left the UFC and got better. Like he got a lot better. With wins over Anthony Pettis and now Jeremy Stephens, man, what do you think of Clay Collard?
I think he's amazing. I think he's really, really fun to watch. I don't know where his ceiling is. I don't know if he can, win the tournament, but I definitely think he is super fun to watch. Jeremy Stephens he's a veteran. And Gaston College beat 2 strong veterans, champion caliber in Pettis. And I mean, Jeremy Stephens was up there in top 5 at one point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a little bit off there. Powerful. He ate shots. He's durable chin. He looks like he's getting better with each appearance. Now, I think he beat Pettis. I believe he lost to somebody I can't remember.
Manfio, like the semifinals, he lost in the playoffs.
That's what it was. Yep. And then, I mean, huge win right here against Stephens. And I mean, I don't know who the favorite was in that fight, but he does. I mean, he goes in and he's beating. We're seeing it more and more. Guys coming from the UFC going into the Bellator and PFL and getting beat like this, and people aren't expecting it. And the betting line's kind of driving towards the UFC fighter because they're well known, right? Stephens, very well known guy. A lot more media on Stephens this week than there was on Collard, in my opinion. Not from our side, obviously. We're very, very, unbiased here at Cageside Live. But it's just very interesting. I don't know if he'll win the tournament, but I think he's fun to watch.
Gotcha. Gabriel, what do you think of that? Because that's a good point he makes. The guys leave the UFC, go to PFL, go to Bellator, go everywhere else, and just don't have the same amount of success. I mean, you would think going down a level, they should be like, I thought Anthony Pettis was a shoo-in for that $1 million, and he gets beat by Clay Collard right away. Do you think maybe the matchmaking is a little more fair in other organizations than the UFC, or is it just one of those like hey, I'm going down to this spot. I should win anyway.
I mean, there's a bit of the matchmaking that's always a big part of it. The UFC puts some guys and girls on a certain track, and look, Max Holloway needed how many fights for a title fight? Volkanovski. And then some people, they kind of jump in and get that deep end of the pool very quickly. Hamzat Chimaev, and they deliver. I think that when you look at a guy, the guys going to the Bellators and the PFLs, I think a big part of it is that you have very tough guys at the top of all the weight classes when you go talk about PFL, when you talk about Bellator especially. Now, do they have, let's say, their top 10 guys like 4 through 10 are also killers, relatively speaking? Probably not. And that's a bit of the UFC budget and their ability to draft the talent from around the world. But you look at any of the promotions, you've got some killers at every weight class that if you're throwing the UFC guys in there immediately, you shouldn't be surprised that they don't just go in and handle business. Because that's just how it is. UFC doesn't pick up everybody. And PFL and Bellator do throw money at talent. Look at the Bantamweight Grand Prix. Perfect example. There's killers who could easily mix it up with the Aljos, TJs, Corey's, Peters, etc.
And then, but on the flip side, you have Antonio Carlos Jr., who left UFC and is fucking wrecking house in the PFL, man.
That's true.
I mean, I think coaches. I think Anthony Pettis he's just kind of washed already, bro. Like, he's going into a division where it's tough. The lightweight division in the PFL is tough. And I think they have a really good, kind of going off that, but Clay Collard versus Roush Manfield. A lot of people thought Clay Collard got robbed last year. I asked Roush about this multiple times during my week in Texas. He thinks he won no matter what, obviously. And Ray Sefo said that if it makes sense, he'll book them to fight next in a month in Atlanta. And he's like, but he's also said if it doesn't make sense, then they can fight again in the championship. So, yeah.
No, there you go, man. Get some comments here real quick before we move on to the next thing. Who's going to be at the UFC Phoenix card? Me. And then Coach says, Evan, you want to fly me out? Like, there you go. You guys can just Airbnb it together, man. Do your thing. Coach says Jeremy Stevens and Pettis are already washed, though. Bro.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you're talking about when did we meet Anthony Pettis? Like 12 years ago?
Forever. Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Stevens even longer. I mean, no offense. I mean, you give me one. Was Michael Jordan still dropping as many points every night at a certain age? I mean, you can't start like having that. It's like, oh, well, it's like, I mean, they were brought in for the name value, not necessarily because they have this great long career still ahead after leaving the UFC. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
And like, look at the promotion you got by adding Jeremy to the field. He may not be favored at this stage, but look, it did the job, right? I think that's a win.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's a good point. All right. I miss Bjorn Rebney at Bellator.
Oh my God.
I met that dude one time at a Bellator event. I was just like, okay. Like, I was like, I don't know. Did you ever meet Gabriel? You ever meet Bjorn?
No, all of the Bellators I've covered were the Scott Cooker era.
He weirded me the fuck out. No offense, all right, but I did love his like goodbye tweet. It was like Mexico. He was talking about the World Cup apparently. I thought he was just like, I'm out to Mexico, fuckers. See ya. All right. And then Strikeforce with Coker was elite. No, he's still doing pretty good now. All right. Moving on. Who watched the Tyson Fury fight? Everybody? You guys? Alex, did you see it? No. All right. Cool. All right. Tyson Fury, first of all, knocks out Dylan White with an uppercut that everybody but Dylan White saw coming for some reason. So, we all knew what was going to happen. Then he calls retirement. However, the interesting part, and of course, Alex, you'll know about this one, Francis Ngannou gets in the ring, and he's like, I want to find who the baddest motherfucker in the world. I'm like, ooh, all right, Francis. All right, throw out the MF first. Let's do this shit, boy. Dana White loves cuss words. Let's go. But is it a real possibility, Gabriel, that we'll actually see Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou in a ring, whether it's boxing rules or mixed rules? Do you think it actually happens?
You asked me Saturday morning before they fought, I'd say, it's like 30, 70, 70 no. It's like they're just other things for Tyson, and certainly Francis has a lot of hurdles. After seeing that, let me tell you, Eddie, I was there for the Maymac press conference. I remember how epic it was.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more for Tyson and Ngannou, and you know what? I think it's going to happen. Honestly, I was listening to Ngannou or talk to Helwani on MMA Hour. I think they're going to do it. And because I like to say crazy things every now and then, I want Canelo and Kamaru Usman in the co-main event. And I say, let's just get wild. And I know that's even crazier, but you know what? If we can't dream, really, what's life worth living? You know what I mean? So I'm going to just say it right there. We're not only going to get Fury and Ngannou, Usman Canelo on the co-main event. And Jake Paul's going to fight on there too, just because. Anderson Silva.
Oh, please let that happen. Please let that happen one day. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
I said it. I said it on Cageside Live. I said it.
It's a double OG on TV. A double G on TV exclusive right there. Now, hold up a second. Logan thinks he took a dot. No, dude. Well, it's boxing. You never know. Now, did anyone watch the MMA Hour today? Because he says what Francis said on MMA Hour today was interesting. What did he say?
You know what? Just that he gave mostly updates on his knee and where he was at, and he just said that like they're trying to make it happen, and that it felt like it was more of a management thing that got Ngannou into the ring with Tyson. But obviously they're aware of it. Tyson knows that that's out there, and I think that it's similar to kind of like Mayweather Logan Paul. They would treat it as a real fight, but I think Tyson just knows that if he were to, quote, make it a professional bout, there would just be too much talk about like Anthony Joshua and Usyk. So having Ngannou, they just kind of pushed that it would be like an exhibition, and that Ngannou just kind of gave updates on what he wants, which he said, I'm not going to leave Tyson Fury money on the table, like plain and simple.
And nobody should leave any kind of money like that on the table there, Chris.
Yeah, no, I do. I think it does happen. I project he's going to sign an extension that will require him to fight John Jones and make Dana White a ton of money. In return, something with Zuffa Boxing's going to kick off with this. I don't know how. Maybe it's a co-sponsor, or I don't know how muddy the waters are going to get, but I think something like that's going to happen because he's not going to fight in the UFC again until he gets Tyson Fury. And people want to see it. There's money to be made. People want to see that. People want to see Ngannou and John Jones. I mean, Ngannou and Stipe is a great fight, but we've seen it twice. The new everybody wants to see is, mind you, Jones is probably going to have to beat Stipe if that does happen in July, like it's rumored to happen. I haven't heard anything if that's done or anything yet, but I think, if Jones gets past Stipe, that's a super fight. It's the biggest MMA fight you can have. Ngannou beats him. You're saying, oh, no, you can't go fight Tyson Fury and make me a ton of money. If Ngannou were to knock out John Jones, say, for instance, I mean, think of how big that can be for the UFC. And I think, that he's going to embarrass. I think I read something that Fury would embarrass him in a boxing match. I think that is the case, but I don't think there's going to be just a boxing match. It's going to be like a hybrid rules is what they're talking about. I think I read something like barefoot would be something part of it.
Ngannou brought that up.
Yeah, maybe not any kind of like grappling, but maybe
MMA
they
gloves.
do MMA gloves. Maybe you do, bare feet. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm going to tune in. It doesn't matter who's going to win. You're going to tune in. Everyone knew that Floyd was going to piece up Conor, but they watched.
Alex,
I think if they do fight, like, to either do all boxing or all mixed martial arts. Like, how are you going to sell it to somebody like, oh yeah, it's like it's in a boxing ring, but it's MMA gloves, but it's 3 rounds, but it's 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one or the other. Like, you know what it is. I just, it won't, like, no one's going to give a fuck if it's like these mixed rules. Like, I don't know. That's how I feel. I do hope it happens, just because I hope Francis gets paid. Tyson Fury seems all on board. I hope the UFC gets on board so that they can co-promote, because I think that's the only reason like what happens. And I do think Francis is going to sign an extension. And then the other thing is John Jones versus Stipe is not happening in July. That's
they made
absolutely
cut out.
It's confirmed. That's per source.
Damn, dude. Are we ever gonna see John Jones at heavyweight? Fuck.
Are they talking about doing it at all still, or is it completely just dead in the water now?
From what I've heard, they're looking at September.
That's good one. That'd be good.
So I think the thing about that is that Jones and Ngannou, the timelines no longer match up anymore. Right. And I'll be honest, that's news to me because in all honesty, I didn't think that Jones was going to fight Stipe. I know the UFC would want it. I'm sure they would try it, but I feel like John Jones is at this point, it's all or nothing. Either I win the undisputed heavyweight title or I lose, and I'm calling it a day because we've already spent too much trying to get him back. That we're talking about one fight. You're talking he's going to fight 2 fights, and this is going to be easy negotiating. It's just so. I'm just shocked. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see it. I think that would be so awesome, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little surprised about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if we ever get. I'm still like I'll be at all you guys. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not surprised. I'm not convinced that John Jones will ever fight again at this freaking rate. But we'll see. I hope so too, man. That guy's fun. But a heavyweight, we've been asking for heavyweight forever.
So who do we think headlines International Fight Week then? Are we thinking it's Usman and Leon? Because I thought we were thinking. I read somebody posted something about them going to London.
Alex knows something. I want to hear what's in that noggin.
So they're working on Usman versus Leon in London. If they don't get that, so that would be in early July or June. Is it June or July? Anyway,
London's mid-July, I think, mid to end.
Yep. So we're working on that. If they don't get that, then Usman versus Edwards is going to be International Fight Week. And if they do get it, then it's probably going to be Izzy versus Cannonier for International Fight Week. Because anything else just doesn't really.
Yeah.
They were trying to push for Conor versus Nate, but Conor's not ready. Connor's not ready.
I thought you were gonna say Conor versus Usman. And I'm like, do we really want to see that? Conor versus Nate would be dope, but Conor, because his leg.
I don't know if he's even cleared to spar yet, is he?
No, he's not. He's just flexing on the gram.
Yeah, he's just messing around.
Dana said he's not ready until fall at the earliest.
All right, and Nate's over here poking a fight anybody. He ain't saying he ain't actually signing pen to paper yet, but.
And that's what I'm seeing with Poirier. He's begging the fight too. So I mean, I want to see those 2 fight, but like if that fight doesn't happen because they want to match Nate and Conor, obviously last fight ends the deal. Who does Poirier fight?
Gilbert Burns.
I've seen Gilbert Burns throw his hand in there. I mean, why not?
Michael Chandler. The winner of Tony Chandler. Why not?
There you go.
I was going to say, you got to remember, International Fight Week, they're most likely going to be bolstered by Nunes and Pena also. So it's like...
See, I don't think that's going to happen there. I think that's going to happen at probably August, because if they follow the timeline of Tough, I don't think it's somebody. It's a 12-week... I think it's like in August, right? I don't think they're going to have Nunes and Pena fight in the middle of the Tough broadcast. It's like 2 weeks.
I thought it starts next week.
Yeah, but it's like 12 weeks long, right? So that puts us like in August time frame. I mean, that's what I was looking at. I was thinking, I was like, you got a premium women's matchup there, but then if you're adding two title fights for International Fight Week, both Rose is going to be probably off unless quick turnaround in May. Rose Esparza, I think they're probably going to be off that, and then Valentina fights in June.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, you got them, and then if they do decide not to do, if they do Amanda and God, I'm all over the place. They do that fight in August. Then what do you put in there? You got Izzy and Cannonier,
Moreno, Biggie 3, 4. Sorry.
Yeah, they could do that.
There you go.
I mean, I will say, I think crazier things have happened than tough coaches fighting before the season finishes airing, but.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count that chicken out of the coop just yet.
Yeah.
All right. Quick. Before, because we're out of time, so we got to do quick fires here. Blue Moon wants to know, Thoughts on Leon getting his purse money plus win money to step aside for Conor? That was a rumor. Not sure if it's true there. Very quick. Yeah, everyone's saying no, right?
No.
Nah.
Even
Don't do
Leon
it.
said, "What are you talking about, Chael?" Yeah, no.
Chael likes to just push it out there and hope the God it sticks.
Yeah, the UFC wouldn't do that. That'd be too much money. Too much money. No.
And Nate versus Patty's not going to happen. That's not. Forget it.
Nope.
All right, and then last one before we go. Thoughts on Cub Swanson getting even better in the tail end of his career?
He is getting better. So he wants that Uriah Faber fight. He was telling me that at first he was going to try bantamweight, but he's kind of scared because it's a very big cut for him. And he was also saying that there's been rumors that a UFC is going to come to Palm Springs, and then really. And Dana, when I asked Dana was like, "Fuck no, like it ain't gonna happen."
Yeah.
But then there was some talk behind the scenes telling Cub that it is possible. And if they were to do that, then I mean they could sell out that brand new arena with Cub versus Uriah easily. But if that fight does happen, it'll probably be at 145.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I figured they'd if they're going to do it, have them headline like a fight night in San Diego. Like I know they're not opposed to that. I thought that was it. I didn't even know Palm Springs had a venue in their neighborhood.
I didn't either. That's what I was
It's a
saying.
brand
Like,
new one. I think it opens up in June.
Gotcha.
Speaking of fight nights, have you guys heard anything extra about? I mean, we had the two. We had London, then we had Columbus. That's all been Vegas. I know they were talking about. I mean, COVID's gone now, right? Like, when are they going to start traveling around for fight nights? Are the Apex secured for May already in June?
Yeah, May. They're talking about Salt Lake City, Seattle, Dallas,
Boston,
Toronto, Boston, and another New York card.
Now, are we talking about that for pay-per-views or fight nights?
fight nights.
Fight nights.
I think, they're not going to do a pay-per-view, I think, in like a Seattle. I think it's all big markets. Yeah. Have they ever done a pay-per-view in Seattle? I don't think so. Like,
I mean, Key Arena's pretty small, so.
Yeah.
They're not
But
gonna take it.
I think that, I know these things got to be done a little bit in advance, but I would be shocked if by July they're not trying to hit the road, because I think by that time, looking at how everything is, unless they're really just like, hey, you know what? We're saving too much money. And Dana White says, I like getting to roll up back to my house by 10 p.m.,
Yeah. That's a good point. And then keep in mind, Dana did say they're looking to go back, and freaking Blue Moon beat me too. So I'll give Blue Moon the credit. Apparently, they're going back to UK again in July. Dana White did say they want to go back to UK. When? Who knows? And then Austin in the summer. That'd be kind of dope. So there you go. All right. Oh, God. Okay, very last one because we got to go there, Tank. What better than this? 94,000 fans in my own country's capital city, the Gypsy King. I don't know what you're saying.
You got?
But
Who you got in the main event this coming weekend?
thank you for reminding me. We have an event this weekend. And Rob Font, Marlon Vera. I'll go first, Marlon Vera. I like Vera. I watched Rob Font take it to Jose Aldo and not be able to finish him. And that was just like, to me, Marlon Vera is probably a little harder to finish. To me. I'm taking Marlon Vera. And Marlon Vera. What are you guys taking?
I think I'm going Rob Font only because Cheeto Vera is a slow starter.
He is.
So if Rob Font gets going, maybe he wins 1-2. He wins. I just don't know. I don't think Cheeto Vera finishes Rob Font. So if that's the thing, I think Rob is just a little bit better of a technical. Like if they stand and bang, I think Rob Font all day.
Yeah, no, you can't bang with them. Marlon, they're doubting you. Gabriel, who are you picking, man?
Cheeto, actually. I think the physicality. I think the skill set and the physicality just starts to wear down on Rob over 5 rounds.
There you go, Chris.
I'm with Alex. I think Font's going to win a decision.
Ooh, we got 2-2 on the show. All right, cool. Other fights in the card: Andre Arlovski, Jake Collier as a co-main event. Andre Tejafilas. Oh God, Jared Gordon, who I believe Alex, you talked to Jared, right?
Yep.
Check that out on the Cageside on the Cageside YouTube here. All right, that's gonna do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We hit our hour limit here. Love the hell out of you guys. Appreciate you guys jumping on here. Double G on TV for Gabriel, at Alex Rahuna for Alex. C Project 89 for Chris. I'm at Eli32 on Twitter. At Cageside Press for everything you need. CagesidePress.com. Check us out. Make sure you hit the follow and the like and all this stuff. All the positive stuff you can hit on this square you're looking at us on. Hit that shit, please. All right. And Coach, last comment from Coach. Wonder if Alex will cover Twitter FC 2.
Got it.
We're gonna send everybody. All right. All right. For myself, the whole team, appreciate the hell out of you guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy the fights this weekend. We'll talk all kinds of 274 next weekend or next week. All right. Good night.